Hello, ladies, gentlemen, and whatever you are. We are going to be doing a little tier list. I think it could be quite fun. We're going to do, because I guess I'm a weeb now. This was not my fault, by the way. This is just what happened. Like it's not my fault. Yeah, so basically what we're going to do is, you see these anime down here, we're going to put them into these specific little tiers, alright? So we got just kind of underwhelming, serviceable show, pretty damn good, amazing, peak fiction. So we are going to be sorting these that I've seen. You see, there's not like a huge amount. I mean, there kind of is. It's probably the genre of like TV shows that I've watched the most. So, yeah, no, it is. Like if I go onto like because I've got like rankings on my phone for like other types of shows, probably the one that's close to it is probably like live action dramas. Which, if this video goes well, then I'll do. Yeah, I've got 15 live action dramas, and I believe I have 18 animes. Yeah. So if this video goes well, I shall rank other types of shows as well. I thought, I think what's important is that, we can like talk about, the quality and have a very nice discussion. So yeah, feel free to, leave your thoughts in the comments below. As we go ahead and rank some of these anime. And we might have to change the tiers as we talk more about different types of anime. So yeah. Let's go. Let's start with the Beast. Actually, let's start with the Beast. Attack on Titan. I mean, it is literally just peak fiction. I rewatched this not too long ago. Like, I watched this when I was in college, and I was kind of like this was my first proper good anime. Like, I watched Demon Slayer and Blood of Zeus beforehand, but this was the first one that really kind of got me into anime again, because a lot of people, friends I had, were talking about it and like hyping it up. And yeah, it really does live up to the hype, and like it I think it probably has the best constructed story out of any anime, definitely in terms of shows. Like, also just one of the best like worlds, and like the way the whole like plot especially is constructed is just like beautiful. Like, like the twists and turns and the foreshadowing is like makes the show such a fun time to rewatch. I say the only thing that's like, I guess, holding it back slightly from being like completely perfect, even though it is in peak fiction, is probably I guess I would have wanted some more like character time with some of these characters, because just so I can feel more for the deaths, or whatever happens in the show. I'm not spoiling that characters die. Yeah, like, so I kind of feel like with some characters, the writing is so like concise and so good that like it feels like no scene is like wasted. Like for example, when there needs to be a calm before the storm, in the show, like kind of like, for example, I will be giving minor spoilers for Attack on Titan right now. So, for example, just before they go to reclaim Shiganshina, there's a very nice kind of like scene of them like eating meat and having like a very really fun time in like the storerooms, or whatever they call them. And it's like it knows what it needs, and it knows exactly what it needs, because the show is so very well written. It also has some great cinematography and everything, like some great film format elements. The soundtrack is fantastic. The openings are great. I guess the endings, I wish I feel like the endings aren't that special for Attack on Titan. That's just my opinion. There'll be a lot of that in this video. So yeah, that's what it kind of feels like. But overall, it is masterful. It is really masterful, and I cannot recommend it more. I feel like there's more to say, but I guess we can talk more about it later on. Okay, let's do Attack on Titan Junior High. For now, I'll put it in pretty damn good, because, yeah, honestly, like, I think pretty damn good, amazing in peak fiction. Like Attack on Titan Junior High does very well for what it is. Like, it is a very silly show. It is just crazy. Like how they just made all the characters into like lunchbox, like school people. Like instead of the Titans eating people, they take the kids' lunchboxes, and that's just so stupid. But it was a very fun time, and yeah, it was very fun. And actually, the animation kind of pops off as well sometimes. Yeah, I don't have much to say about it, but it also had some very sweet moments. Like, if you've watched the show, also has some foreshadowing for the show, which I think is really cool. Like, it also has some very sweet moments between some characters. So, I guess minor spoilers for Attack on Titan Junior High, and also Attack on Titan, coming up. So, with Attack on Titan, and Attack on Titan Junior High, so like there's kind of like foreshadow that Bertolt likes Annie, and there's not much of it in the original show. It's kind of going back to my point of like how I think like there should have been more to like establish like Bertolt and Annie's kind of connection, or the fact that Bertolt likes Annie, because there isn't much of it, and I think it would have been cool because later on there's this whole thing about how spoilers, actually major spoilers coming up. So when Armin eats Bertolt, it's like very like, oh my gosh, crazy and she's mental. But it's like, it kind of like Armin has like taken his whole life, so he's taken his memories and like his feelings for Annie as well, because Armin and Annie kind of presumably end up together. And Attack on Titan Junior High, from what I remember, has an episode that's very much dedicated to just like a nice little romance between Bertolt and Annie, which is pretty nice to see. It's very nice also having, because Attack on Titan is like so dark. It's probably one of the darkest shows on here. We will get to more dark later. We'll get to more dark later. And yeah, very fun. It's very light. So it's a very nice dynamic between the two shows. But honestly, it does what it sets out to do extremely, extremely well. And I'm more than happy about it. Okay, we're going to talk about Blood of Zeus quickly. This one is going here, kind of underwhelming. So this is I think this might have been the second anime I watched. So I started with Demon Slayer, actually, like 2020. And I watched Blood of Zeus. And with my brother, and it was actually I remember it being a really fun, engaging time. But also I'm just thinking like this was probably also because it was one of my first anime, so like kind of a similar thing with Demon Slayer, which I will go into later. I think this show and Demon Slayer might need a bit of a peer review again, like a rewatch to establish kind of my feelings on it, because I started season 2 not too long ago, and I was very like disappointed by how it just feels very like nothing. It just didn't hook me. Overall, the animation is just kind of okay, and I don't want to talk too much about animation. Well, we'll talk. Wait, where is it? We'll talk more about animation later. But with this, it just feels like it was like a bit too stiff. And overall, like I think the world is interesting. Like combining it basically combines Greek mythology into like an anime kind of setting. And I think that's really cool because Greek mythology is so like, interesting. I really personally find it very interesting, very fun. Yeah, it just didn't hook me that much. And I do want to eventually watch season 2, but the fact it didn't like hook me straight away is kind of, for me, why it's quite underwhelming. So yeah, and also whilst we're talking about it, I'm also going to put Demon Slayer. I'm going to put this at serviceable. Because so Demon Slayer, it was my first anime, and overall I was very I was very interested by it. For example, like, this is minor spoilers for Demon Slayer. I think episode 7 or whatever, somewhere around that time, where Tanjiro is fighting like the demons in like the training, and he kills this green fat demon. I don't know what his name is. And it was like, and yeah, he kills the demon, and then the demon like gets really like sad after. Um, and it sounds quite simple. And to me, it was like, oh, that was like some nice depth to the show. But I think that was also because I watched it. It was the first one I watched. It feels like the depth isn't really there. Really, it's like it's over. Like it's very simple. I think that it does very well actually. Like kind of what it tries to do. Like overall, it's very simple, but it's a good simple. Like it has some really hype moments, like just some like yeah. If you watch like later on, like damn, I'm not going to spoil it, I'm just going to say there's some just such cool moments, and the animation like really pops off. But like for example, in like the later arcs, like season 3, no, we're talking Swordsmith arc, which is season 3, and then season 4, which is Hashira training, I believe. It feels like it kind of like took a bit of like a power scaling issue with kind of like the way Tanjiro builds up his strength and the people he fights. And I mean to be honest, I feel like it's also like it's kind of at the end already, which is crazy, but I think I'm very excited for that end, and I feel like it's going to be peak. So it might go up, but I think just in general, I'll put it in it does it very well. It's classical shonen anime. I guess. Yeah, it's just alright. It doesn't like the characters overall are very simple. Like Tanjiro is just, if you think of Tanjiro and Inosuke and who's the other one, Zenitsu, like they're all very like much archetypes, and the world is very simple. But it's also like that. Like that's kind of its greatest strength at the same time. The fact it's simple. It's just not as well for me. I like things with more depth. I would call myself an intellectual, so and I'm joking. I genuinely like if you like even things I put lower, like I can every show still here, like even Blood of Zeus, which is probably going to be the lowest one on the list. I can still like say it's good, and if you make your case, then yeah, like I could definitely see, and this will definitely be the case for some of these shows later. So yeah. Pretty, yeah. I don't think there's anything else to say. Yeah, I think it's like it's actually one I kind of recommend to quite a few people as well. Demon Slayer, because it's like a good starting anime. Because I started with it and I really enjoyed it, and it's just like it's very simple, but that's also really good. All right, enough of that. Enough. I've had enough. Okay. Ranking of Kings. Okay, now it's actually been a very long time since I watched this. Because okay, I'm going to put it serviceable, but don't kill me. Don't kill me. Okay, please. Wait. Okay, so I'm going to put it serviceable because I haven't watched it in a very long time. And I don't remember much of it. I can't say much about it, but like I think the protagonist is very memorable and very like he's very different, which if you've seen the show, you'll see. And I really like that about it. And he's very cute. He's like best boy. Best boy. Yeah, I just don't remember too much of it. Whilst even if I think of shows I watched like around a similar time, I can cut, or shows I watched before, I can remember more of it, or I would want to rewatch clips to remember it more. But I just haven't with this show really. But I do want to one day. But for now, it's going as serviceable. You can make your case on why I should rewatch this show in the comments. But yeah, that's that. Psyche K. Okay. I'm gonna put it pretty damn good for now. I'll say it's. Oh yeah, I guess we can do the moving things. I guess if this is above it, then that means it's better. Psyche K is just so fun. Like there's literally not else to really say. It's just so fucking funny, man. Like the show is just non-stop jokes. I would say one thing for me is it feels like the show like does this same format of jokes a lot of the time, where it's like someone says something ridiculous and Psyche K just kind of like corrects them in his mind. So for example, if a character is like, oh yeah, you see, I don't care that this girl rejected me, and then Psyche K would be like, oh, you're crying inside. Like there'll be a lot of these kind of jokes which sometimes can get a bit old, but overall it is still such a fun time. And personally, I love the outro. I think the intro is a bit mid, but the outro is very fun. And I would recommend watching it. It's called I Like You. I don't know, I can't remember the name. Let's have a look. I Like You, Psyche K, by who is it by? By Psy Desu? No. Oh, I don't know. Okay, I can't say. It's just very chill, man. It's just very chill. It's very chill. You're gonna have a fun time, most likely, with this show. So it's pretty damn good. Code Geass. Okay, I'm literally on episode 8, I think, but it's overall, I'd say it's pretty amazing right now. Like, my only really complaint with the show originally was how it felt like the first episode was a bit too fast paced for my liking. Like, so much stuff happened within like the first 2 episodes, and then it kind of calmed down a bit after. But I kind of I can accept the fact that it just did that to like, to get the viewer like engaged, because so much stuff happens straight away, and yeah, and honestly, like, it's I really love the soundtrack as well. Like I love like the horns, instruments. It really makes it stand out, and it's overall just very fast paced. It's got a very like I wanted to say like 90s feel. I don't know what I mean by that, but like how it's very like the characters are overall quite like, for the most part, like I love some of their designs are really cool. Like you see the green haired girl, she's got a really cool suit there, and this one here, Lelouch. And yeah, it's overall like, just, I mean, I can't say too much because I literally just started it, but I'm very excited for where it's going to go, and I feel like it's just going to keep getting better, so that's why it's going in amazing for now. Cool. Okay. JoJo's. This is going to go in pretty damn good. Probably here. Yeah, JoJo's. Yeah, okay. I've only watched season 1 and 2. I think it was just honestly for me, I can really understand the hype of JoJo's. And like, it's just so stupid, in a good way. It's so funny, but like in a very unique way. And sometimes for me, like, especially in like earlier on, that like comedy, like the comedy didn't really like land as much for me. I kind of like, it sometimes was absolutely hilarious. There's this one scene, so minor spoilers ahead. There's this one scene, so there's one guy who's like this one villain, and he like, I think he takes out his eyes and he says, "Oh, I was foolish for relying on my eyes to see it." It's like, what the hell are you talking about? And it's just so like, it's mental. And yeah, like overall, like the first season was nice. It's just, yeah, I never found the comedy too great, but I really kind of enjoyed like the more like kind of when it got more serious. I mean, the whole thing is that the show takes everything seriously, but when it doesn't, and it's just like a cool plot with like cool fights and everything, it's actually pretty great. Yeah, I guess there's not too much like to say. Like I can't really diss the show too much, to be honest with you. When it's not my thing, but it's definitely pretty damn good. I started season 3. I'll probably watch more eventually. So yeah, that is that. Okay, you know what, let's talk about this. Okay, this is my newest one, Berserk 1997. Okay, for now, yes. Okay, so this show, like, for me, it kind of, okay, so I knew like a massive spoiler about the show beforehand. And it kind of made me want to watch the show. Like, it was like this, like I knew it was good, and I really wanted to read the manga one day because it's like been hailed so much as a manga. But yeah, like I just like it had me hooked, like knowing the spoiler, and then I watched the first episode and I got really hooked. It was nothing like fantastic story wise. It wasn't like insane, like something like the first episode of Attack on Titan, or maybe like the first episode like Chainsaw Man, for example, which we'll go into later. But it had a really dark atmosphere, and and it kind of like setting you up with this dark atmosphere and then taking you somewhere else. So this is a minor spoiler, it's not too big, but the first episode takes place after the rest of the show. So it's like the first episode, so it's like first episode, so it's really the rest of the show, then the first episode chronologically. But yeah, so it gives you this first episode, and then you're kind of left to kind of think with that, and like as you're watching the rest of the show, you kind of think about how that episode relates to everything else. And then it slowly but surely builds up into like such a dark, such a dark and gripping like dark and gripping tale with such great characters, such like like the atmosphere again. And like I started the manga, and like and I think what's insane is that this, and I can understand why, is that people would say that this is not like this isn't like the best adaptation of the manga. Like it's not that great in terms of adapting the source material, but in my opinion it's still a great show. It's still a peak fiction show because of like the story, like all the story elements are there, and still like the like what they did for the time, like and what they managed to do with like, you know, the like the cinematography and the art style and the editing, and the music. Yeah, oh my gosh, the music. And I love the intro right now. It's kind of my favorite thing. Yeah, it's just fantastic. And I think it goes to show, like, even though it's so old, it is what, 2024, it is 27 or 27, 26 years old, which is mad. It is actually mad. And it still holds up as such a gripping tale, and it's like, this is like the gateway into the show. And I haven't finished the manga, I've literally just started it, but I hold by the belief that if it kept going and adapted the rest, like maybe even gotten better, as you know, like animation, like possibly all the censorship as well, kind of got kind of changed, then I feel like it would have become a fantastic, and my favorite anime, definitely my favorite anime, and one of my favorite shows as well. Yeah, it was just such a gripping time. And the thing is, I don't want to spoil too much. Like, I don't want to say too much because I kind of want you to go in blind if you don't know about it, or just read the manga as well. Like both are great decisions. It is really fantastic. It is just when you kind of like. Yeah, it's the new thing for me, Berserk, and this anime was the gateway into that. So yeah, quite amazing. Okay, speaking of amazing, Cyberpunk Edgerunners. Yes, peak. Okay, no, it's not peak, but it is almost peak. So Cyberpunk, oh man, like it is. Like I watched it not too long ago actually, and then I rewatched some clips of it, and I was like, wow, I really want to rewatch it again because it has so much heart, and it has like it's such a nice little 10 episode little show, you know. And I really appreciate that about miniseries, like shows that just can end and like that's it, you know. Like there doesn't need to be any more because the show is done. The show has told its story in a very concise manner and it's done, and that's what I appreciate about Cyberpunk Edgerunners. And I'll also say a similar thing about Odd Taxi. And yeah, it's really emotional as well. Like it's got such a like you see like the main character, like minor spoilers ahead, like kind of descend into this really like dark, like kind of like really sad and dark path, but also it has a really touching love story, and it has a really like gritty world. It's a really dark world, to be fair, and it has some great animation as well. Yeah, honestly, it is really great, and I want to rewatch it because I want to like appreciate this whole thing more, and you know, like the whole like, I mean, I think the universe is great. Like, I mean, props to like the Cyberpunk universe beforehand being set up for them to like put the show into, and yeah, it's just it's overall very like, it's very character focused, and I love like the little kind of journey that kind of the show takes and how like the characters change. Like, I know that sounds really simple, and you can say that about a lot of shows, I mean, currently, not many on this list really do that much, apart from like Berserk and probably Attack on Titan as well. But yeah, it's very subtle changes, but it's really like satisfying at the same time. Yeah, yeah. I want to rewatch it, so I'm not going to say too much. Okay, should we talk about the... Okay, I need to talk about the elephant. Okay, Jujutsu Kaisen. This is going here. Okay, now, let me explain. Jujutsu Kaisen, for me, and it never hooked me, and I couldn't really figure out why, because I watched it with someone who, like, loves the show, like, loves it. And I wanted to see its peakness for me, but for me, it just didn't really work. And I want to try and explain some few quick points here whilst we're here. Also, the manga is just finished. But yeah, overall, the writing, I think, is overall definitely its weakest element. Like, it has astounding animation. It really bloody does. And it has a very cool power system. It has some really nice intros. The soundtrack is really nice as well. Outros are pretty good as well, I must say. Yeah, Lost in Paradise, and the other one, season ones are really good. But yeah, I think, and it kind of, watching Jujutsu Kaisen kind of solidified for me kind of what I want in shows, and how, like, I don't just want, like, kind of like hypey fights, because that's what a lot of it is. And it's based around the hypey fights. Like, if you watch the Shibuya arc, we're going to talk a bit about Jujutsu Kaisen now. So just spoilers for Jujutsu Kaisen. Like, in the Shibuya arc, for example, which takes up most of season 2, it is basically just fight after fight. There is character moments, and there's some really nice ones, I have to admit. Like, for example, with Nanami, and Gojo. But it's just honestly just so, like, disappointing, because I feel like this show has so many like elements for it to be great. Like, it has character moments, and I feel like I want to say quick, the anime adaptation, I think is really great. But even if the anime adaptation is great, it doesn't save like the writing of the manga and like the story that, you know, it's built on. Because yeah, like, I think it's for the amazing fights you get with this show, you know, it really blows the manga out of the water. And I think it's so like characters are like, I feel like a lot of the time the characters exist just to have cool powers, and they get to show their powers, and then we don't get much else apart from that. One of my favorite episodes from Jujutsu Kaisen was Sister School Exchange Event 3, which has kind of been titled like the Girl Boss episode, where like Nobara fights Momo and Maki fights Mei, and honestly, like, at that time I was like, oh, this is so cool, because you have like these hype fights and also intertwined with character moments, and kind of that's what those kind of first 3 kind of fights in the Sister School Exchange Event are. Because they're really they're fights, but they're also like it's like they're introducing these characters, because later down the line they're gonna get a lot of development. The issue is that the characters don't get much development, and when they have sometimes they have these character moments of, so for example with Mechamaru and Miwa on the train, like where Mechamaru is basically saying goodbye to Miwa, and it's like, I get this connection was set up kind of, but it was never given the time to breathe. I'm going to talk about this in a bit with Chainsaw Man. It was never given the opportunity to breathe, to really allow me to feel properly. Like, because I really, for example, that train scene, I really loved it. I think it was so well done. Like, the colors and the lighting and the cinematography and the performance from Miwa and Mechamaru's voice actors was really, really nice, really great. And it's like, you can tell it's like it's almost there, and that's what frustrates me about this show. Things are just like are close, like they're close, but they don't. But the issue is that the show is so I'll say obsessed with the just strong and really cool looking fights, that it doesn't give like the time for the characters to really B, and then therefore, and this is like this is a problem, because hype is cool, don't get me wrong, but hype also has to come from somewhere, you know, and if like a fight could be so much more hype, and I can feel more with the fight if they just if the characters involved in the fight had gotten much more beforehand. And yeah, I really want to do actually like a proper like analysis and critique of the show, because there is genuinely amazing elements. Like for example, with the Sukuna versus Mahoraga, I was just in awe. I was actually in awe by how beautiful it looked. There's so much for me to say about this show. Like I'm kind of obsessed. I'm kind of obsessed with it, but at the same time, it's serviceable. It could go to pretty damn good, but it just never really worked that much for me. And I'm gonna explain. It's kind of counter, in a lot of ways, is Chainsaw Man. And I absolutely love Chainsaw Man. It's going to go straight in peak fiction. It is might be one of my favorites on the list. I call this an interchangeable peak, because I struggle a lot with kind of where I'm going to put Chainsaw Man, but I'll put it here for now. Yeah, like this show, like I actually made a very cool analysis video. So yeah, I made an analysis video of this show, of the first episode of this show, because when I rewatched the show, I found so much to appreciate about it. The show has really good action, and it's weird because I rewatched Chainsaw Man after I watched Jujutsu Kaisen, so I was kind of disappointed in a way by the action, because of how good it looked in Jujutsu Kaisen, and because it's by the same studio. Like, it's so annoying because it could be done so much better. I'm praying that Chainsaw Man's movie and the future seasons will really show amazing looking fights, because they do look really good in the show. But the thing is, what sets Jujutsu Kaisen and Chainsaw Man apart is that with Chainsaw Man, the fights are just, the cool looking fights is like a cherry on top of the cake. In reality, it's a very like character driven show. Like the first 4 episodes of the show, and also I want to say the 5th, but even the 6th, like it is all building up the characters first. It gets that like the best thing, I mean, for me anyway, but what I look for in shows is like it knows that if you want to get really invested in the world and the show in general, like you have to write the characters first, and they have to be good, and then the other elements of the show can also be fantastic as well. So the show spends so much time getting you to just love and be with these characters, and like see so many different sides to the characters, and make you feel conflicted emotions towards each of the characters, like Himeno, for example, and Denji, and I'll just speak a bit about Denji for a while, but I love that he is such a what's the word? He's not like any other protagonist, really. Like he has the motivations of other protagonists in terms of his will, but the actual why he has that will is actually mental. But it also makes sense for him, and it is just and this whole thing about Denji, kind of like, it's like he's been robbed of a good life, so he's just gonna have it now, and kind of like how a lot of the characters in this show are kind of shocked by Denji, and are kind of like so like they don't know what to think about him, and the way Denji gets manipulated and used by also like the female characters in the show, especially also some of the male characters as well, but especially the female ones, I think really works for Denji's arc, and I can't wait to see kind of what they do with that later down the line. Sad to say, you see, I kind of relate to Denji, you see. So it's like, I think there's also a lot of personal, like, kind of bias to why I like this show. I think it's like, I can feel a lot, and not many shows I've seen really tackles this kind of, I guess, relationships and, like, intimacy in such a, like, I guess, kind of sad light, you know? But then that's just one element of the show, but it's also the core of it as well. but it's also not, because there's also so much like cool powers and everything, and the world is amazing, and the cinematography and basically the film form elements of Chainsaw Man are all fantastic. It has my favorite cinematography. The fact that it has 12 different endings is also brilliant. Just really adds to the whole experience. And it has and the world it creates is so dark and so twisted. And yeah, that's kind of that with Chainsaw Man. There is so much more to say, but it is really fantastic, and I'm actually, now me talking about it, I'm picking up again Mother Berserk again. These three are just fantastic. Anyway, I've got 6 more. How long have we recorded? 35 minutes. Hopefully this just keeps going. I'm very scared that it will just stop. Well, let's just hope. Let's just joke, guys. Okay. Mob Psycho. Mob Psycho is pretty damn good. I would say it's just about there. Mob Psycho has some amazing fights and like animation. For me, the art style, like, it's definitely unique, but sometimes I'm not like a fan of it. Sometimes I kind of am. Like, I think Mob himself, Shigeru Kageyama, has such like a cute little design. He's like, oh, look at him, oh, it's little Mob. Yeah, and it's pretty cool. I really enjoyed season 2 of this show a lot, actually. I think it did a great balance between like some high intense action, some shocking moments, and some great character moments and like development and everything. For just pulling it out right now, like the season 2 premiere was really great for that. Like the like Mob is probably one of the best protagonists actually on this. I want to say on this list. One of the best. He's given the most screen time, and he really like goes through like a really simple but really heartwarming journey that isn't like maybe what you think from like a typical like show like that's about like, because it's like about self-improvement and like wanting to like better yourself, but bro is literally like a god with his powers, and I really appreciate that. I guess some things that kind of fall off a bit for me is I feel like characters like Dimple, Ritsu, Teru, Hanazawa are kind of not given that much time, and like I feel like they're not given like I just don't care as much about them. So it's an issue because when they have these like emotional moments, and because this show is kind of very like it has fights, but it's about like the characters, you know, at its core. It just kind of disappoints me a bit because I feel like they haven't gotten as much time to shine. I actually think the show could have benefited from more kind of like a more fleshed out kind of world with these guys and everything, and I think that's the issue, because I really care about Mob. I do care about Reagan, but I feel like not as much as other people. He's very funny though. He's very funny. But with the other characters, like the kind of the secondary characters, I don't feel as much for them. I think it has a great cast of supporting characters, like the Self-Improvement Club, for example. They're really fucking funny. But yeah, I feel like it didn't really engage me much in the first season. Like and I feel like a lot of the times the show disappointed me in a few aspects, when I felt like the show could have really gone somewhere so much more interesting, but it overall took like the safer route as well. But it's still really good. It is a really great show. It's a great show. No, not really. It's a great show. It's not really great for me. So yeah, that is that. Okay, Scott Pilgrim takes off. Okay, now this one I've searched up. I am like pretty sure it's not an official anime, but apparently it is. So I'll just put it here. Scott Pilgrim. So, actually, you know what? I'll put that. Okay, I'll put it here for now. But it's very interchangeable with Cyberpunk. I think the first episode of this show is so great. I think and just kind of the premise of it is so like nice, and it has such a cozy feel good vibe, which is why it kind of goes up a lot more than me. It's kind of like with Studio Ghibli, like how I would say My Neighbor Totoro is probably one of my favorite. It's probably my favorite Ghibli film because of how like happy it made me. It had such a cozy, happy feeling, and it's kind of very similar with Scott Pilgrim. Like the show's also just very cool. I think it really gets you to just like all these characters. They didn't get much like development or anything, but it kind of for sure like this, it doesn't need to. Like it kind of knows what it is. And it just like it's literally just about like the girl Ramona like trying to like find information from the seven evil exes that she's had, and it's just like so like it's not too silly. It's kind of silly. It's also pretty funny as well, and has actually some pretty decent fights, and overall just has a really nice romance at its core. And there were some scenes in particular that the show just really like hit the feels for me. Maybe there was one scene where I guess minor spoilers. There's one scene where like a character is playing the drums, I think, and then this new girl who's never picked up a musical instrument before picks up a bass, and then they start to play together, and you just and it just lets you sit and play, and it just plays the music, and it's just and then you get to see like the character playing the bass like really enjoy it and really feel those really nice warm buzzes when you like play an instrument with someone or engage in it's just such a simple activity, and something like that just really stuck out to me, and really was just actually really like quite a very strong scene, and a lot of and the show has a lot of these. It has a lot of charm. It has a very unique charm that I can't really explain. It's just very cozy. So yeah, it's very cozy, feel good. It's probably the most feel goody one on the list. I guess Psyche K could also be feel good, but this one has like it's very funny, very kind of random XD, and that also makes it such a fun experience. So yeah, highly recommend. Don't sleep on it. Oh, Odd Taxi, yes, peak. Well, not peak. This is peak. Odd Taxi, man. Oh yes. Okay, Odd Taxi was like I actually knew nothing about this show before I got into it. Like I knew nothing. I actually knew nothing about it. But Odd Taxi is such a brilliantly written show, and like the same with what other show was it? Which show? Cyberpunk. Right next to it. It does so well in its little like limited little screen time, and it was honestly like just a great time. Like the character writing and the way this whole world is interweaved together, kind of like similar to how Attack on Titan has such a brilliantly constructed world. It's the same with Odd Taxi. Like it seems like every element of this show, because it's so short and concise as well, it is so everything feels earned, and you really get to like the characters. And I also really appreciate how this show ends as well. It's without spoiling too much, it's kind of like it's a very kind of cliffhanger type ending, which it's weird for a show that's so concise in all the writing, but it purposely leaves you with this very like damn, it's a quite like a dark feeling actually that it creates at the end. I think it'll be best to go in blind, because honestly it was such a great time, so I knew nothing about it. And I didn't expect it to be such a cool, without saying too much, it's basically like a crime drama, and it's very like down to earth, but also has some really touching moments. And yeah, because the show focuses on the characters like Chainsaw Man. Yeah, actually, thinking about Berserk, actually, I think it's a bit too high. I think I'll rearrange it a bit at the end. Okay, we've got 3 more. Let's quickly do this. Cowboy Bebop. I'll put it. The top are pretty damn good. Cowboy Bebop is a very it's a very cinematic show. It's very like it's episodic, and it's quite like it's got such it's very cinematic, and it's very I don't know how to explain. Yeah, it's got a great opening and ending. And it's got some really like standout adventures, and the show is really like similar to, I guess, Scott Pilgrim. It has its own very special charm to it. Very special charm. And I really just it's actually hard to explain. I don't know why I've gone blank. Maybe I'll talk more about it later. Love is War. Oh yeah, okay. Oh okay, wait a second. Okay, I think we'll put it here for now. Love is War is so good. It's first of all so funny. It's second of all so touching, because it also gets the rule of a way to make you feel for the characters properly is allowing like really fun and funny moments to be had with them. The cast is overall really fantastic. The visual comedy is great. I really like all the openings and endings of this show. I think that's really strong there, and yeah, it's just honestly like such a sweet little story. And see, watching the show, it was like, oh, why could I live in a world like that? Oh my god, you see, because it was so like nice. It's such a nice little world. And yeah, and I love how it goes, how like the love develops in like between the two main leads of this show, and how it informs the rest of their relationship is so nice to watch. And oh my god, it has Ishigami, which is like one of my favorite characters of all time. He's such a king. There's an episode dedicated to him, which I am definitely ready to say it's probably one of my favorite episodes of all time of anything. Very personal, very touching story. Chica is very fun. I feel like there's a few things I would like to say quick. Chica, I feel like for some reason in season 3 she's just a bit more unlikable. I mean, I think people find that funny. I personally didn't really, and I kind of preferred Chica's kind of like way that she'll kind of like just funnily be in the way of the romance between the two main leads. She served a great purpose there. And it's kind of like for me, she was perfect for her role there, and she kind of went into she didn't need to change basically. And the two characters are iconic. I would say one of the main things is it feels like I really wish Shirogane, which is the guy, got more screen time and kind of like plots to develop. This is mainly prevalent in season 1. It's much more balanced and nice in season 2. And free. But in season 1, it was a bit like it was Kaguya's story, which I get it. It's literally called Kaguya-sama Love is War. But for me anyway, I would have I think it was much better when it was perfectly balanced. It made some of, like, for example, towards the end of the show, when there was like more moments to make me feel for Shirogane, I didn't feel them as much as I did with Kaguya, because we got so much more with Kaguya, and I feel like it would have been such a nicer balance if everything was more balanced. You get what I mean. You get what I mean. Yes, I'm just thinking what else. Yeah, and I love. Yeah, it's such. Yeah, I think I've already said. Everything. And Death Note. I think it's amazing. I know. Okay, I think it's amazing. I just don't know where. I actually don't know where. Hey, wait a sec. Okay, I'll put it here for now. Death Note is like iconic. Like it is literally iconic. L is an amazing character. Like it's just I don't know. It's also kind of very concise as well. Like I would say yeah. The last third is a bit mid-ish. But I need to rewatch that to be fair. And yeah, it's just so, like I would say just the whole like Light and L thing is just one of the most like iconic things in like television history. Like their war, their battle. Unfortunately, I found Misa a bit annoying. Near and Mello are pretty cool, to be honest. Yeah, not too much to say. Okay, I want to quickly go through the list. And kind of tweak it around a bit. I'm gonna tweak it around. So I'll keep this at kind of underwhelming. Okay. I'm a bit more mean towards Jujutsu Kaisen, but that's just because I'm obsessed with it. But I also don't think it's that great. But it's gonna stay here for now. Ranking Kings, I feel like I just need to rewatch because I think it was great. Demon Slayer will stay because I think that the simplicity it's very similar to Jujutsu Kaisen actually. Like I feel like there's a lot of potential with Demon Slayer as well, but it kind of there's some areas where it could have gone to a much more interesting direction, but it didn't. But overall it stays into this more simplicity bubble. Like you know what you're getting with Demon Slayer overall. Like you know it's not going to do anything that's going to blow your mind, whilst Jujutsu Kaisen subverts a lot of expectations, but sometimes that can really hinder the story, in my opinion. So Demon Slayer, I think it's better than that in that way. Attack on Titan is just fun. JoJo's is fun. Mob Psycho is great. It just has a few things holding it back. Psyche K is super fun. Cowboy Bebop. Let's see if I can say more about it now. It is, I guess it's just for me, like, I guess I'm not as big on the episodic nature, but that's just me. Also, by the way, with Mob Psycho, I feel like some of it's, it kind of feels a bit episodic, the show, which is, I mean, it's not a bad thing, but for a show like this, where it's about Mob's growth, sometimes it kind of feels like it's a very episodic nature, which kind of hinders like this really nice tender like growth of the main character. But yeah, that's that. So yeah, I mean it's really cool. It's just cool. Cowboy Bebop is cool. I might do that because I think Mob Psycho is great. Actually, the more I think about it, it just has a few elements that just holds it back for me. We'll put Psyche Key there. I think that's fair. Death Note, yeah, it's just a great drama. It's an amazing tier. There's a lot of stuff in the amazing. I think I might go something like that. So Death Note, yeah, is just brilliant. Code Geass has so much potential that I can't wait to see. Such a fast-paced, fun story that's like very plot-focused, but that's very cool. Scott Pilgrim has such a warm, cozy feeling. I'll put that there. Cyberpunk Edge Runners is so dark and emotional. I feel like I'm not. I feel like I could use better words to describe it. I really want to stay at your house. I couldn't wait for you to come and clear the covers. That one. Yeah. I feel like there's some shows. I feel like Cowboy Bebop, Death Note, and Cyberpunk. I could definitely say more about. Which I might in the future. Anyway, Scott Pilgrim, very nice and cozy. Love is War, like, really fantastic. Just a few missing balances here and there, but it's really not a big of a deal. It's great. Or Taxi. Is it perfect? It might be perfect. Like, it's basically perfect to me. I just like these ones I did. Yeah, because I actually thought it'd be like a really kind of nice, like kind of episodic show, which is like, oh wow, the driver is gonna go and pick up people, and they'll tell him about his life, and it's like, wow, it's crazy, it's mental. Some would say berserk, berserk, ayo. Yeah, that's Odd Taxi for me. It's kind of perfect actually. Like, Love is what is so close to being perfect. There's just a few minor things. Yeah, you know what? No, don't do that. Can I add one? No, wait. Let's add a row. Where am I? No, move. We will add a row below, and we'll call this one. Basically perfect. There you go, basically perfect. Which is where we'll put Odd Taxi and Love is War. But yeah, it's basically perfect. It's just, yeah. Attack on Titan we have been through. And Berserk. I think Berserk, like, whilst I'll say the first third wasn't too like interesting, it was building up. And it has some shocking, truly shocking and truly astounding moments this show, and I can't wait to read more of the manga. In fact, I think I'm going to do that once I've recorded this video. And I think Chainsaw Man is my favorite right now. It is basically perfect as well. I would say the only thing that I might say is a bit iffy was how it ended. Season 1, I haven't read the manga. It just felt a bit like, only like one or two scenes just felt a bit iffy-affy, because actually now I'm gonna blame the fact there were only even 12 episodes, you see? But yeah, so like when it comes to basically perfect and Peak Fiction, like it's basically the same tier, but it's like there's more of a personal bias. I'd say Attack on Titan is also basically perfect. Oh yeah, the ending. Wait, I didn't even talk about the ending. I actually don't think the ending's that bad. I actually think it's pretty damn good, honestly. Like, the more I think about it, the more the ending really suits the show. And I'm not going to talk about it here because we're going to be here forever. But yeah, I think that is it. I'm pretty satisfied with that list. Yeah, I'm very happy. Thank you guys for watching this. Whoever is going to watch this. But thank you. That was very fun. I want to do a video. I want to do a proper video about Jujutsu Kaisen, because I literally, that was just one element I just touched upon. The show, I feel like, just needed less fights and more character interactions, and it would have shot up the charts. Yeah. Okay, cool. And from what I've heard in the manga, it doesn't get better, guys. It doesn't get better. Okay, that's it. Thank you very much. Thank you. I will stop sharing.